Hi there, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of C Talks FPL. Yes, game week 2 is finally over. Yesterday was the last game. We're recording this podcast on Tuesday. So, Monday Night Football, Newcastle versus Liverpool was the last game of game week 2. And the agenda is very simple. We look at my game week 2 score. I'll just take you through what score, as you can see on the screen already, right? What was my score? What was my thinking behind the wildcard team that I picked for game week 2? As many of you would already know, I actually had a good score in game week 1, but with my gut feeling about how things will go in the upcoming game weeks, I thought that playing the wild card is a good option, so I went with that option, and I have a good feeling about it in the coming weeks. So yeah, I'll just take you through my game week 2 score. Tell you what I feel went well, and a couple of things that I believe did not go too well. A couple of decisions that I do regret on my wildcard. But nothing too major. Still very early on in the season, and a lot of opportunities still. And we have 36 more game weeks to play. So we'll quickly do a review of my game week 2 score, and followed by that, we'll keep it simple. We'll look at the game week 3 fixtures. We'll look at what kind of teams can we target. What players should we have in our teams for the next 5 to 6 game weeks. Not looking too far ahead. Of course, that's not a very good thing, I believe, in FPL. You should not plan too far ahead. So we'll keep it simple. We'll look at the next 5 or 6 fixtures, and we will also discuss captaincy for game week 3. So yeah, here is my wildcard team in for game week 2. For those of you who have already watched my game week 2 team selection in the previous episode, you would already know about my thoughts in the team. The thing that I wanted to mention, right, that one decision that I regret on my wildcard is my game week team had Yugo Ekitike and Cody Gakpo, and I sort of sacrificed them, and instead I went for Palmer and Evan Nilsson, uh, purely out of the herd mentality, the fear, right? That is something that I really want to work on a bit more. That I shouldn't give in to the noise in the community, right? So because if I look at the factual data, Palmer has not scored a non-penalty goal for a long time in the Premier League. In general, he was struggling. Yes, if he did start versus West Ham, we don't know what the score would have been. But all things said and done, I think Ekitike did really well. He got 9 points. Cody Gakpo, I think, got 10 points versus Newcastle. So that's a big swing if you look at it, because in my team, Cole Palmer did not actually play. So he got subbed for Goodmanson, who was unfortunately my first sub. Had it been Van de Ven, as you can see on the screen, who I kept as a second substitute, I would have actually ended up with 7 more points this week, right? So I feel a bit hard done by that decision. It's kind of backfired. Instead of getting that 6 points off the bench, I actually ended up with a -1 from Goodmanson. But it's all right. I feel Arsenal were a little lucky with how things went about. I think for the first half an hour or so in the Arsenal versus Leeds game, I felt that Leeds were playing. They were playing pretty well. Arsenal was struggling a bit, and I think just the nerves got to Leeds. Right, it's a level up. It was their first away game against a big opponent in the Premier League, so I think that's fine. These things happen. But yeah, I wish I had kept Gakpo and Ekitike in my team. I went for Mo Salah, and I captained him. He was not very much involved in the game, to be very honest. Again, I think it's purely a tactical point of view. But see, Salah being Salah, he still ended up with something in the game. And a 10-point return, 5 into 2 from the captain, not too bad in such a game week. Elsewhere, I think it was pretty decent. I like the Pedro Neto pick in my team. I think he's looking good in terms of minutes. He's doing well. Got me a goal as well. And if Palmer is out for a little bit more, I'm more than happy with the two Chelsea players in my team right now. I picked Kukurea on my game week 2 wildcard, and I think given the kind of player Cucurella is, he's always likely to bomb forward, and I almost consider him an attacker. So until the Chelsea fixtures are good, I think I'm more than happy to keep him, and maybe Pedro Neto can stay for a couple of weeks as well. So yeah, that's what my wildcard score looked like. I think Petrovic, happy with a 6 pointer really. Went with him as my 4.5 million goalkeeper. Uh, Expected better from United, honestly. So Dogu, just got me a couple of points. I was very keen on Mbumo and Cunha as my United picks, but I just have the feeling that the kind of system that Ruben Amorim is playing right now. We'll talk a little bit more about that in detail. So yeah, this is what uh, the game week 2 fixtures looked like. Uh, Obviously, the most interesting bit was Arsenal scoring 5, and Victor Gyökeres obviously I think he got a 12 pointer, 2 goals, one from the penalty spot. One of the goal was, where he just took that run from the left half space channel, got inside the box, cuts inside and scores. I'm still not convinced. I'll be very honest. I'm still not convinced about the pedigree of Victor Gyökeres from a Premier League point of view. Looks a little bit. Uh, I mean, his physical frame, right? When you see him making those runs in behind, looks like he struggles a lot of times. And from what I observed, Arsenal are not really playing to his strengths. That's my observation. Obviously, it was a one-off game, but it'll be interesting. I think the way Arsenal tactically setting up, I'm not sure how many times they'll end up scoring these 4, 5, 6 goals, but I think the 5 goals were very kind on Arsenal, and for me, Victor Gyökeres is a wait and watch, especially with Arsenal's fixtures as well, right? So we'll talk about the fixtures later as well. Bukayo Saka is going to be out for about 3 to 4 weeks, so that again becomes a factor. He's their key man. I don't see a lot of creativity from Arsenal's midfield, and with the likes of Odegaard, for example. So they really rely on Bukayo Saka for that creativity. Uh, yes, they've signed Eze now, so Eze has come into the play. It's a wait and watch for me again with Eze, right? How he integrates with his teammates, how soon he settles in. Obviously, he's Premier League proven, but just a matter of how well he settles in. So yeah, that's about. I think that was one standout for me. City result was a little disappointing if you own Holland, but honestly, if you are a Man City supporter like me, nothing about that result is surprising. That's been one team that always gives Man City problems, no matter which manager, right? Whether you talk about Mauricio Pochettino in the past, a long time back, you talk about Mourinho, you talk about Nuno, you talk about Ange Postecoglou, and you talk about Thomas Frank now. The managers have come and gone, but one thing has remained consistent, that Spurs give Man City a very hard time, whether it's a home fixture or an away fixture. So that's not really surprising. If you own Haaland, or if you are keen on Man City players for your FPL team, I think it's continue monitoring them. They will come good. To me, they're still the favorites for the title. I read a lot of chatter on social media about how they'll struggle, but it's just one bad game against Spurs, and City always have bad games against Spurs. So yeah, nothing surprising in that to me. Also, the Chelsea game was interesting. Obviously, that Palmer injury was, in the warm up was a little unfortunate, especially if, like I said, right, in my case where I was really scared with his high ownership, and I decided to let go of Gakpo and Ekitike just to have him alongside Salah and Haaland in my team. That didn't really help. Instead, it was the other highly owned Chelsea attacker, Joao Pedro, who ended up playing, a lot of minutes and got a 15 pointer. So yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Elsewhere, I think the Bournemouth game was disappointing as well. My striker Evan Nilsson didn't really get anything. I think Semenyo looked really good, to be honest, from a neutral perspective. If you want to just, we'll just head over to sofa score. This is where I normally, uh, you know just to, if I want to look at the player data for individual games, once again, shout out, it's a great app. uh, Sofa score is good. Footmob is also good. We are talking about Semenyo, right? He just got one assist, but I think he was really good. One thing I've noticed is that his volume of shots is even higher than last season. So I think last season he was firing about 3 to 4 shots per game. This season the trend, yes, he's taking similar or higher volume of shots, but what's interesting is that he continues to hog all of those big chances for Bournemouth. So it could be tactical, honestly, because nothing that a team does on the pitch does not come from the manager. So it's probably a manager instruction to Bournemouth, because if you look at Evan Nilsson, for example, right, he's the one who's really dropping deep, and zero shots against Wolves. So that's not very good at all. Very good passing numbers, but that's not really helping me or any FPL manager when we talk about FPL. We need those goals, we need those assists. So that's not quite happening. Just one big chance as well. And yeah, David Brooks again. He in fact had 3 shots in the game as well. So the way they are setting up right now, to me it looks like Evan Wilson has been asked to constantly drop deep, do that bit of hold up play, and get Semenyo and David Brooks into play. So Semenyo is definitely one to monitor for me. I think he will, if this continues, right, if he continues to hog the big chances for Bournemouth, and you know uh, he's definitely going to be in our teams very soon. uh, the price is still very good. I think he's just at 7.1 or something. I don't know if he's gone up to 7.2 yet, but yeah, very good price, honestly. And yeah, we spoke about the City and Tottenham game. This was interesting, right? Because there's a lot of noise, and even actually have Burnley as one of the relegation favorites, but I think they surprised us all. They looked all right. They defended well as a unit, scored a couple of goals, but I don't think their forwards or midfielders are really a consideration for our FPL teams. But yeah, defensively, if you have a Hartman or a Steve in your team, you're getting 6 points out of that 4 million budget of yours. So yeah, job well done in that case. And yeah, Brentford Villa. This is an interesting one that I want to talk about, because right from the preseason, and I also spoke about this in my you know game week 2 team video as well, that I'm not really keen on Aston Villa as an attacking unit, especially despite all the love that FPL managers have for Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers. They have I think big tactical issues from my point of view, and Emery is too stubborn to solve them. And the story continued in this game week as well. They again have Yuri Tillemans playing in that number 10 role. Again, he's a championship quality number 10. If you're playing him in that role, he is not good at all. Same with John McGinn in that wing role. Morgan Rogers, I think again, he had a terrible game. Did pop away a couple of shots, but again, not really involved. Plenty of penalty area touches, by the way. So, uh, if you are in that boat where you think that holding on to Rogers for 7 million, I think it's worth a shout. And the fixtures look decent as well. So we look at the fixtures as well, right? In some time, we'll just go through uh, this game review once. Ollie Watkins missed a big chance. Had a few. I think some of his shots were like really wavered, right? Not really high quality chances, and that's my worry with Ollie Watkins, and that was my worry with Aston Villa in general. Yes, at some point he will score a goal. At some point, Morgan Rogers will score a goal. But especially with someone like Watkins, if you're spending 9 million of your budget on him, are you really looking for that? At 9 million, and really look for someone like an Ekiteke or a better asset to really justify that sort of price. So, not very keen on Ollie Watkins unless I see Villa get a little better in terms of their attacking, in the way they uh, attack the box. And I think that will happen once maybe Marlon gets some starts, but it's not really looking good from an FPL perspective for Aston Villa. I don't expect them to get relegated, of course, but I posted it on my Twitter, my X handle, that I think it's going to be a little difficult for Aston Villa this season. I think their squad lacks a bit of quality, honestly, and I see them finishing maybe mid-table, or I won't be surprised if they finish lower than that, maybe lower half of the Premier League table, because this season is going to be really, really difficult. And people, I feel they really overestimated Aston Villa in the pre-season, right? Because if you look at the game week 1 matchup as well, everyone was underestimating Newcastle, and everyone thought that Ollie Watkins will score a couple of goals, and that obviously did not happen. And that's how quickly narratives change, right? With the herd mentality that I always keep talking about. Because before game week 1, everyone was like, oh, uh, Villa will have a good fixture against Newcastle and they'll ship a couple of goals. But the narrative before the Newcastle game was that, oh, it's going to be so tight, and Newcastle are hard to break down. It's funny, because Newcastle didn't score a single goal against Aston Villa didn't score a single goal against Newcastle, but Liverpool ended up scoring three, and that's what teams like Liverpool can do, right? I think you look at the likes of City and Liverpool are these two teams where you can say that they're pretty much fixture proof, in terms of, and that's because the kind of superstars that they have in their team, right? You look at Salah yesterday, for example. He gets that assist out of absolutely nothing. And it's very similar to what he did in game week 1 as well, right? Where he just goes ahead and gets that goal in the dying moment. So very similar story that happened against Newcastle as well. I'm just trying to open this, and yeah, it's up now. I'll be honest about one thing, right? Before game week 1, so way back in May and June, if you look at my tweets about this man over here, Florian Wirtz, I said that I expect him to struggle a little bit because he's coming into a new league. It's very demanding and stuff like that, and those were my initial thoughts on him. But when I saw him in the preseason, right, I honestly felt he looked a bit comfortable. But I completely negated the Premier League factor, right? Because when he was playing those preseason games, he was not really playing at that intensity that we see in the Premier League. And playing in the Premier League is a completely different ball game after all. So I think that's one thing I got wrong. I think even Arne Slot, the Liverpool manager, needs to understand this, that because right now it's very clear that he's isolating this guy Mo Salah on the right wing. He's not playing the same role as the previous season or the season before, and in my opinion, that's one of the reasons why Liverpool are struggling. And I'm very sure someone from the Liverpool analytics team will flag this to Arne Slot that, listen, if we want to compete for the title, this cannot continue. And that was one of the reasons why I played my wild card, because Mo Salah is Mo Salah, right? I want to be comfortable where I own both him and Haaland in my team, and I can take turns in terms of captaining them. Because if I look around, right, the options like Palmer and even Bruno and Saka, they're not really justifying their price tags. So if you have that kind of money available, and you have guys like Elliot Anderson and Tijani Renders who come at a cheap cost. There's the likes of Pedro Neto for 7 million. There's Semenyo for 7 million. There's a lot of cheaper options out there. So I think it's very much doable. Having both Salah and Haaland. So I'll be a little patient with this. I don't know how long will this experiment or whatever Arne Slot is trying. I don't know how long that will continue, but the longer it continues, I don't really think it's beneficial for Liverpool. I think if Salah is your best player, he needs to have the most touches in the final third, and Liverpool need to go back to that tried and tested method, and I believe that will also make life easy for Cody Gakpo, for Hugo Ekitike, the front three. So yeah, I think that needs to happen soon. Florian Wirtz, yes, you can have him playing that. I think he presses well. To be honest, does end up losing a lot of duels. To be honest, both aerial and ground duels, but he presses well. So I think he should be used in that role where you use his work rate to sort of amplify and leverage players like Mo Salah, and really help them get the numbers. Yes, I think Liverpool made a mistake by spending that kind of money, right? 150 million is a lot. I don't think he's that much worth as a player. But objectively speaking, the reality is that that was his price. He's now in the team, and if you're now the Liverpool manager, you have to set up each and every player in the team and use them to the best of their ability. So I think Florian Wirtz is struggling a lot, even from an FPL perspective. It's not really, he's not really setting the world on fire. He just had that one chance earlier, right at the start of the game, which he shot straight at the keeper. Yes, he had to, the Newcastle goalkeeper had to dive a little bit to his left, but it was a pretty routine save, to be honest. So yeah, not quite happening for Florian Wirtz in from that perspective. I feel Newcastle were a little unfortunate to not have won the game, or at least drawn the game, and that's a typical Liverpool thing. We've always seen over the years, right? The likes of City, the likes of Liverpool somehow always find a way to win the game, and that is what separates them from the rest of the league, and that's why they've been the best teams in the Premier League, and probably the best teams in the world, alongside the likes of Real Madrid. But that's a different conversation altogether. I think from an FPL point of view, before I played my wildcard, I had Ekitike, I had Florian Wirtz, I had Cody Gakpo in my team. I have Mo Salah in my team right now. I feel I've made a mistake by removing Ekitike and Cody Gakpo, so I want to fix that. Florian Wirtz, yeah, maybe he'll become he'll come okay, he'll come good from a real life football perspective soon if he adapts. But not looking good from an FPL perspective. This guy is a big problem for me, Curtis Jones. Not because he's directly an FPL option, but I don't know what his problem with Mo Salah is. Whenever he's playing, there were 2 or 3 occasions where he could have played that pass to Salah when he was through on goal, and he did not play that pass. So if people like him, I think he does not really have a high football IQ in the final third, especially. Yes, if you want to put in the tackles and press in your own half, then yes, you can rely on Curtis Jones, but you really have to keep him away from the final third, because this is a championship quality player. He cannot be the one who is tasked with playing alongside the likes, the caliber of Mo Salah, the players like him. Few occasions where he could have just put Salah through, and there was one occasion where actually Mo Salah put it on a plate for Curtis Jones. All he had to do was just tap it in, and he missed that chance, right? So players like Curtis Jones are a net negative to the team. So Yeah, if you are a Liverpool fan, I think you really have to hope that Curtis Jones is not featuring, frequently. This time, I think he featured because it was a difficult game, and obviously, McAllister was not available for selection. So yes, those are the factors. But yeah, that's the reality. I expect Mo Salah to do well. I expect Arne Slot to have learned his lessons over the first 2 weeks, because if Liverpool are to do well, you need Salah to be your main man. Just take a sip of water. It's difficult just talking to yourself for a good half an hour, 1 hour, whatever. And then we'll talk about. Yeah, I want to talk about Man United actually. Before that, we already spoken about Arsenal, right? So there's not much point, going over that. Very quickly on the Crystal Palace and Forest game, not much happened there. I think I'm not sure of Nottingham Forest and their clean sheet potential. This season is not looking that sharp from a defensive point of view. But overall, I think they are still a decent unit. And this guy, I just got him back on my you know wildcard team. I think he looked decent as well, right? I mean, the numbers here won't show it, but if you watch the game, there were a few occasions where he was just one pass away from scoring a goal, still taking corners from that side. And mind you, the we I keep talking about his floor of potentially 4 points, and he almost ended up getting those defensive contribution points yet again. So close, right? Even in the first game week, he got 11 defensive contributions. He was just one away, and it was the same story against Crystal Palace as well. So I think really at 5.5 million, I think he's an easy set and forget option for our teams, right? Very very nice option. It's one spot that you don't really have to look at. Chris Wood, I think he's still looking good value for money. I like I said, maybe not defensively, they're not that great anymore, Nottingham Forest, but overall, I think they are looking good, even as an attacking unit. I think they did all right. Chris Wood looked okay. So if you have him in your team, I think you should just continue to hold on to him. And the next fixture is a good one, so you never know, you'll have 1 or 2 goals coming from Chris Wood. Apart from that, not much, right? If you own the likes of Murillo and Milenkovic, no clean sheet points, right? And they couldn't hit the 10 defensive contribution threshold, so no extra 2 points for Milenkovic or his partner either. So yeah, not much happening on that front. The Everton Brighton game ended 2-0. I feel that Everton were really lucky. If you watch the game, I think they should have conceded at least 1 or 2 goals. Obviously, Pickford saved that penalty from Welbeck, so that instantly becomes a factor. But Everton are not looking good, honestly. But first home game, right? Their new stadium looks great. The fans were absolutely behind them, so I think that played a part. Brighton looked okay, and didn't look too bad. Uh, it's a wait and watch. I don't think a lot of Brighton players should be in our consideration right now from an FPL point of view. Even Rutter, I think he did not feature at all. So if you are an FPL manager, one of those FPL managers who have Rutter in your team, didn't feature, wait and watch, see what the situation is. Lastly, yes, I wanted to talk about Manchester United, and after that, we'll just quickly review the Man City Tottenham game a little more in detail before we look at the fixture ticker and the game week 3 matchups. Uh, See, my problem with United is that I was very close to having Brian Mbumo or Konya in my team. My only problem is the whole setup that they have, right? And Ruben Amorim, their manager, is very stubborn. He wants to stick to this. and the reason why this is, I believe, not really working out. Yes, they are creating chances, and inevitably, yes, Cunha will score a goal here and there, and they don't have midweek fixtures, and Mbeumo will also, be involved at some point. Bruno will get an assist too. I think what's really holding them back is the fact that this formation, right? I don't know what's thinking behind it, and Bruno Fernandes is playing so deep, and I'm sorry if you're a Bruno owner in FPL. He ended up missing that penalty and getting those minus points. It's not really looking good at all. The next fixture is nice. We'll look at the fixture ticker again, but I don't know what the manager is really trying with this setup over here. They look a bit lost a lot of times. They start games on a strong note, but I think once the opponents grow into the game, right, they completely play United off the park, and it becomes too predictable. And the main thing in the Premier League, right, you need legs in the center of the park. You have to win those battles, and that's not happening for United right now. They just have a two-man midfield. They get outnumbered in the midfield. Bruno is expected to do the job of two players into one, and I don't think that's really fair on Bruno the player. So yeah, just from an FPL point of view, I think Cunha looked very very much attacking. I think in the first 15-20 minutes he should have had at least one goal. Mbeumo, yes, he didn't put away any shots, but if you looked at it right, he had some penalty area touches and he got into good position. So a return could be on the cards very soon. I like this kid, Patrick Dorgu. It's just a shame that United don't really look very sharp defensively. They get nervous, when the opponent piles on the pressure. Don't look a very confident, defensive side. I think from a defensive perspective, they need. Harry Maguire should start some more games. That's my opinion, really. But yeah, I think Dorgu looked all right to me. I think he looked good, and I'm very happy to have him in the team. I feel an assist or a goal or something could be on the card soon, because he likes attacking that penalty box. He's played 90 minutes, so that's a good sign, because all the substitutions are happening on the other wing, right? So whether it's Amad Diallo, who's starting right wing back, he comes on for Diego Dallo, or it's the other way around. So I think Dorgu looks like he's a safe pick. The manager likes him a lot as well. So that's that. It's a shame, again, the defensive side of things, and the culprit, with all due respect, is this guy, their goalkeeper. Doesn't look comfortable, when he's defending corners. He really has to up his game. If not, then United will continue to struggle defensively as well. So yeah, that's about it when it comes to reviewing the game week two fixtures. Okay, we'll just quickly look at what is in store in game week 3. Okay, we just, yeah, this is what it looks like, and I'll also take you through my transfer thoughts for my own team as well, and just from this fixture ticker perspective, what sort of players we can target. So I've got something lined up for you over here. It's like a fixture ticker for the next few game weeks, looking at the next 6 games, which are the teams that have the best fixtures. So I've just sorted it in that order over here. Right at the bottom is Arsenal, and yeah, so some very tough fixtures actually coming up for Arsenal, starting with Liverpool away in game week 3. Especially with Saka out, I think that becomes a problem. Nottingham Forest at home, again, is not going to be a very straightforward fixture, to be honest. Same with the game week 5 fixtures against City. Man City at home, difficult. Newcastle at home, Newcastle away, very very difficult as well. I think they are in for a hard time. So If you took a 1 week punt on Victor Gyökeres in game week 2, I think job well done. But yeah, I don't think Gyökeres or any other Arsenal player is a good option for game week 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the next 6. Honestly, if you look at my wildcard team, I what I initially had at one point was, instead of Kukurea, I had Julian Timber at 5.5, who actually ended up getting a huge score, right? So obviously it's a bit disappointing in hindsight, but at the same time, I look at it from the long term perspective. See, one, we didn't really expect, no one expected Timber to get more than 20 points in a single game week, right? So it just happened. He scored a couple of goals. And would I really play Timber against Liverpool away, against Forest at home, City at home, Newcastle away? The answer is no, 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 and no. So yeah, I think if you have Saka, it's you just need to move him on to another player, and the fixture's not really looking good. The likes of Burnley, Fulham again have difficult fixtures. Everton again have difficult fixtures. So not much to talk about. I don't think any of these teams, their players should really be in our FPL teams anyway. At least at this point, even Tarkowski, if you have him at 5.5, I think it's a bit too much. Everton are not looking very good from a defensive point of view as well. So yeah, maybe if you have Pickford, but that's again 5.5 is too much, right? I know a lot of people who play it casually have gone for Pickford. So if you have him and you're happy with him, I think in the difficult fixtures he'll really rack up those save points. So why not? But not much to see here, honestly. Uh, yeah, if Burnley, you have someone like Steve in your team, it's just a 4 million defender, so you can just keep him on the bench and just maybe start him regularly once the fixtures ease up. Maybe from game week 8, uh, he could be a decent enabler for your starting 11 if any of your starting players have some difficult games. United, I really love Mbumo at that 8 million price. I think if you own Bruno, it's time to let him go. Maybe just give him that game week 3 fixture, because purely because they're playing Burnley at home. But again, I'm not very confident about United doing well in this fixture as well, purely because of the way Amorim is setting up, and Bruno especially playing that very very deep role. It's just counterproductive to the team. And my bigger problem with going with a United attacker right now is that they play after Burnley, they play City away, they play Chelsea at home. So those are two tricky fixtures, I would say. If Mbomo or Cunha, they look good, I think I'll be more than happy to pull the trigger in game week 6 when they have Brentford away. Then they play Sunderland at home and Liverpool away. That's a tricky fixture, but still, you get two decent fixtures in Brentford away and Sunderland at home. So yeah, not too bad from that point of view, honestly. And yeah, Brighton, I think not really looking good. I think Chelsea is an interesting one. They have slightly mixed fixtures, but even with Palmer out, right, it becomes a little interesting situation to see how they adapt. But I think as of now, they are the team in the Premier League that have the most amount of expected goals and the most amount of expected points as well, right? So if you have a Joao Pedro or Cucurella, for example, I think it's worth holding on to them. Palmer, we let's see what the injury situation is like. We'll come to know. We'll find out soon. I have Pedro Neto in my team. I think I'm going to keep him at least for the next two, right? I'll keep him for Fulham at home and Brentford away. One more important thing to note is that very soon we'll have midweek fixtures as well, especially for the top teams. So a lot of dynamics could change once that happens, right? So the minutes could go up and down. So that also will become a factor very soon. So yeah, I think in terms of just assessing their minutes also becomes a crucial thing. But I think we still have a couple of weeks till we figure that out. Uh, right at the top, Aston Villa have spoken about how they're looking lackluster, and yes, they have decent fixtures, but you don't really want to spend 9 million on a forward, you know, who has Yuri Tillemans playing right behind him. Right, he's not going to do much if he has no service, so that becomes a non-option. An interesting one for me is Tottenham. I think you know we should be maybe looking at Kudus soon. Uh, I'm seeing a lot of love for Richarlison, but yeah, I'm not very sure on Richarlison to be honest. Yes, the fixtures are looking really good. Bournemouth at home is decent. West Ham away in the next one, very very good fixture. Playing Wolves in game week 6, Leeds away in game week 7. My problem is that Richarlison, he's always had fitness issues in the past. So that's number one. You'd never know when he'll break down. And also the fact that I feel that Richarlison is one or two bad games away from Dominic Solanke coming and replacing him in the starting 11. So that's always going to be a fear. To me, it's a very typical situation, even though the manager is praising Richarlison, Thomas Frank. But I think it's one of those situations where he's doing that just to get the best out of Dominic Solanke once he does inevitably become the first choice striker, which I think could happen soon. So it could happen in a couple of weeks, 3 4 weeks, we don't know. So yeah, if you feel like having a punt, then you can go to Richarlison, but I don't like that move personally. Leeds, we don't really have a lot of options there. If you have Goodmanson in your team, then I think uh, he's a fine 4 million enabler, right? Very attacking from that left side, especially in the home game. So yeah, I think he's worth the shout. If you already have him in your team, I think you can just keep him in there along with Steve from Burnley. Two really nice 4 million defenders for our teams. Brentford, not much happening. Yes, Dango Otara has now transferred to Brentford, and he did score that goal against Aston Villa as well. So it's a wait and watch. He had a lot of penalty area touches in that game. Looked promising, but again, it's Brentford, right? We don't know how well are they doing. Is that really a side that will score a lot of goals regularly? So that's a bit of a wait and watch. In terms of Nottingham Forest, uh, they I feel they have a mixed bag really. If you look at their fixture ticker, but if you probably look at their next four, I think Arsenal away is obviously a very difficult fixture, but West Ham at home is nice, Burnley away is nice, Sunderland at home is nice. So I think Anderson and Wood, if you have them in their teams, these two in your teams, right? I think they are good options. I'm happy to have Anderson in the team. Hopefully he gets those extra 2 points and pops up with the goal very soon, and we could be looking at a double pointer in one of these games. So yeah, I think that's excellent value for money. Chris Wood again, I think he'll continue to do well. So I think until game week 6 we can hold on to our Nottingham Forest players at least for now. Liverpool, again, I keep coming back to Liverpool and City because I firmly believe that these two are the top teams. They'll obviously always end up scoring the most goals. So, from a City perspective, the next three are a little tricky, but Brighton away, I don't think that's a bad fixture. I think that's a good fixture from Haaland's perspective. Two tricky fixtures in United at home and Arsenal away, but then after that, if you look at the next three, you've got Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton at home, all really really good fixtures, especially from an attacking perspective. So I think Haaland is definitely going to be you know in our considerations, right? I think for this week, especially in game week 3, he's going to be one of the captaincy shouts, at least for me. Before we do that, we'll just quickly look at the dynamics. So if you follow me on Twitter, you must have noticed, and I think I spoke about this on my previous pod as well, that my general feeling was that in the away games, Tijani renders this man will be given a slightly advanced role, but in home games he'll be playing a little more of a withdrawn role, not as attacking. And it turned out to be true. What I predicted actually turned out to be true. If you look at his numbers against Wolves in the away game, and you compare it to the home game, the first City home game, that is exactly how he was instructed to play by Pep Guardiola. Okay, uh, just one blocked shot and absolutely no key passes at all. So not much happening, and the reason is this man, Ryan Cherky. He played just 54 minutes. A lot of noise about him on Twitter, but I'm not sure why. I think he had a really good game. He looked very good. He's very strong in his duels. He did create a big chance as well. Uh, I think it is purely the fact that he's new to the Premier League, so Pep sort of took him off in the hope that Bernardo Silva, who understands the league, right, who's a very senior player, can just add that little bit of calmness to what was a tricky game for Man City, to be honest. So I think Ryan Cherky inevitably will come good for Man City. But the more important thing is this man. I think in away games he will definitely be a bit more attacking. The good news is that if you own him, Man City are up against Brighton away in game week 3. So yeah, good news if you have Tijani Renders in your team. I do expect some returns. I don't know if he'll get a double digit or whatever once again, but yeah, he could come good once again. And it's a good matchup. It's a good matchup. If you have looked at Brighton in the first two games, I think City will do well against Brighton. So yeah, I think he's a happy hold, and I've said it before that I don't look at Tijani Renders as a 5.5 million midfielder. To me, he's underpriced. He's a 7.58 million midfielder to me, who we have the fortune of getting at a lesser price. So look at him from that perspective, and that will really help you build your overall squad a lot better, I feel. So yeah. Lastly, we've got Liverpool in here. Again, I feel it's a mixed bag, but like I said, right, just like City, Liverpool are the difficult fixture, right? I mean, I believe they don't have difficult fixtures. Yes, some fixtures can be easier than other fixtures, but I feel that someone like Salah can score in all of these fixtures. He can score against Arsenal. He can score, and he has scored against these teams in the past, right? And he has the best record in Premier League history against the so-called traditional top six sides. So I think that trend will continue. So I'm more than happy to have him. And I'm just thinking, right, from my team's perspective, I've spoken about it a couple of times already in the pod. I felt that I made two mistakes of not owning Hugo Ekitike and Cody Gakpo in my team. What I've done is I've immediately fixed that. So you'll just look at my transfers, heading into game week 3. I have said goodbye to Cole Palmer, who we don't know. I mean, he could be back from his injury, not be back. Maybe he'll come back and score a goal or two. Honestly, I don't care. I don't see him keeping that up in the longer run, to be honest. And I'm more than happy to cover him, with Cucurella and Pedro Neto. So I'm more than happy to get Cody Gakpo back in my team. I'm more than happy to get Hugo Ekitike back. It's a big relief because I was watching the game, and the data will tell you that Ekitike just had one shot on target. But honestly, if you're watching the game, the player who looked most likely to score the goal was actually this man. So I really want to. So I look at it from this way, right? That if you have Salah in your team and if you expect him to do well, you get his points. In games where you feel that Salah will get marked out and he may not get more than one return or so, who does that benefit? It benefits these two. It benefits Hugo Ekitike and it benefits Cody Gakpo. So I look at it as a double-edged sword where I'm putting these three Liverpool eggs in my basket, all attacking eggs. I'm not very confident of their, I'm not a big fan of their defenders. I don't think they're a good defending defensive unit, honestly. So I look at it from this logic, and Liverpool, I don't expect them to blank in any fixture. To be very honest with you, yes, there'll be an anomaly, every now and then, once a while, but I don't look at them as a team that will blank in any of the fixture. Okay, so uh, if they are scoring a goal, it's very very likely that at least one of these three will be involved in this goal, and that is my logic. That was the logic that I had in my game week one team as well, when I went with Florian Wirtz, Gakpo, and Ekitike. But just upon consideration, I feel that Salah will inevitably, it's impossible to keep him out of action, and I think Arne Slot will revert to having Mo Salah as the main man in the team very soon, if not immediately, versus Arsenal. So that is my thinking. So I've rectified that mistake. I've taken a -4, but Ekitike and Cody Gakpo are back in the team. Overall, I think with these transfers, my team is looking in really great shape for me. Very happy to have Haaland, very happy to have Ekitike, happy to have Anderson, Renders, Gakpo, obviously Salah, and Neto. I've spoken about him as well. Dorgu has a nice fixture. I think Man United are right at the top when it comes to clean sheet odds in game week 3. So that's a good fixture. Happy to have Van de Ven, Corella, and Petrovic in goal. Hopefully he gives me some safe points. But yeah, I think I'll play him in goal. Captaincy, I am not so sure yet. I'm probably, I mean, even though it's on Salah right now, because this is the T this he was that's because he was my captain in game week 2, right? So by default it's on him at the moment. But my preference as of now, my first choice for captaincy is Erling Haaland. But I'll be honest, Salah is very close. So to me, it's going to be very close between these two. Yet again in game week 3, and that's why I want both of them in my team, right? And I feel very uncomfortable not having Haaland or Salah, and just the thought of one of them going and scoring 2 or 3 goals. You keep all the Twitter noise aside and ask yourself an honest question. If someone is scoring 2 or 3 goals in a Premier League game, which two players are the most likely to score those 2 or 3 goals? And your answer is very straightforward. It's either Erling Haaland, and if not for Haaland, you expect that to be Mo Salah. So if we're talking about this kind of a pedigree, when it comes to these attacking players, I think you need to have both in your team, especially when Palmer is not really lighting up the world on fire, and Saka is not on penalties anymore. So all of those factors are obviously there. So that is my reason why I went with the wild card, and I got both of these players in my team. And yeah, hopefully it works out well in the short term and in the long run as well. And I just keep telling myself, right, we need to ignore the I need to ignore the Twitter noise, and that's what I'll advise you as well, right? Play your own game. Don't listen too much to what is going around in the community, because see, the community hyped up a lot of content creators out there. They hyped up Ollie Watkins, they hyped up Morgan Rogers, and look what Aston Villa are doing, right? And Haaland went crazy in game week 1. He got a 13 pointers. If you captained him, you had a 15-20 point advantage, I would say, over the field. So you really have to back yourself. Another notion that I'm seeing in the community this season is that oh, you need to be patient, and patience is key. You don't really have to use your transfers. No, you'll continue to be patient, and very soon you'll end up at 6, 7, 8 million, and then you won't have any time to get back into the game. You don't really want the gap to increase, because this game is as dynamic as it has ever been. In the past, these things used to work. Right now we're looking at almost 10 million people playing this game, and they're very active. The data is readily available everywhere, and they can take informed decisions. So I don't think it's a very good idea to be reactive. I would like to back myself and play that proactive game, and I would advise you to do the same as well. I'm not saying go ahead and take a -8, -12 or whatever, but if you feel that you've made a mistake, which I felt in this previous wildcard, where I backed 2 players in game week 1 and I let them go on the wildcard, I really wanted to fix that game, fix that mistake, sorry, because once that Arsenal game is out of the way, I've got Burnley away, Everton at home, Crystal Palace away, all really good fixtures. So yeah, that's my thinking really with these two players that are now a part of my team. And yeah, more than happy to keep them. And now that I'm happy with the team, maybe I'll think of, I can save off my transfers if the spine of my team is doing well. I don't really have to make a lot of moves and change players in and out. So we'll see about that. Also, I think I've got like 1.4 million or something in the bank. Let me have a look. Yeah, I've got like 1.4 million lying there. So I can use it to upgrade some of these players. In fact, maybe if I want to switch to a United midfielder, and Mbumo or a Konya in game week 5, for example, I can easily let go of Pedro Neto and bring one of them in. So I'm really happy with the structure, to be honest. Or even someone like a Semenyo, right? In the next game week, a Neto or Semenyo. Neto to Semenyo could be a good move as well. Or if Ryan Cherky becomes an option, suddenly you're looking at a triple Man City attack. I think that would be a total dream, to be honest. But yeah, that comes the fear of Pep Rowlett, right? So something that we'll discuss in the future game weeks. But yes, as of now, this is what my team looks like. In terms of captaincy, I would suggest you stick to your premium assets. So you stick to a Salah or a Haaland. That is what my advice would be. Fulham, I know that if for a fact that if Palmer is past fit, there will be a lot of recommendations for Cole Palmer for that Fulham fixture, but Fulham have looked all right, in the United game, and Palmer is not really. I mean, I would like to see Palmer get those sort of returns first before even consider the captaincy on him. So yeah, stay away from Cole Palmer. Uh, let him get the goals and assists first, and then we can consider him. Uh, so yeah, I think my captaincy again is going to be between Salah and Erling Haaland. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. I've given you my thoughts on Gakpo, Ikitike, and Salah, and please join me if you think that my logic makes sense, and if you're brave enough to do it, I think you should go ahead and get all three, and yeah, continue to back Haaland. He will get you the points. Overall, I think that's it for now. We've done a lot of talking. We've went through the game week 2 results. We've looked at the score. We've looked at my transfers for game week 3 as well. Hopefully, no injuries, right? Because I went in early and made my moves by bringing in Gakpo and Ekitike. So hopefully, no early moves. I mean, no injuries that sort of backfire. Fingers crossed. Hopefully that shouldn't be the case. And yeah, this is what my team looks like. I'll probably post my final team. It's going to be pretty much the same what you see on the screen right now. Maybe the captaincy, I'm not sure on Haaland or Salan, but I'll definitely post it before the deadline on my Twitter, on my X handle @Syed Siish. You know where to find me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You can reach out to me on Twitter as well, or on Instagram. My handle is the same. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe, spread some love, and yeah, really enjoyed this. Hopefully, game week 3 will bring all of us a lot of points, and I'll be back soon, and hoping for like a 90 or 100 points or something, and I hope you have that kind of a game week as well. Until next time, it's a goodbye for now.